the page. Where is this one? Why is this? What is this even capturing? I don't even know what this is. All right, just delete it. Okay. Just delete it. Yeah, so we're looking for a unique archon staff. I'll put this here. We're going to swap our items around a little bit.
Mr. Llama, since I pre-ordered Mongsong's lesson, if not enough other people order, do I just get a rare archon staff?
I think that's how it works. Okay, we'll do that. And we'll put our ring on. And we have our gear. Let's see, did he... I didn't see him in here. Where are you at, Monts? If you went to bed, that's fine too. I know how it goes. Alright, yeah, so we'll do some farming and stuff. Pit tunnels. Everybody loves a nice date in the tunnels, man. Everybody loves it. So yeah, if you see a unique Archon staff on the ground, lose your mind. Alright? Everybody freak out.
Mongsong's in the pit.
I'll explain this character a little bit more for those early. No, it can't drop cracked. If it's unique. Cracked is a type, essentially. So it's like a magic or, you know, a rare item. A cracked item is also a type of item. This character is my personal journey to find every item in the game. You know how in Path of Exile there is the unique tab that'll list all of them. I am trying to find that on Diablo 2, except I'm trying to get every unique and set item. There are 506. I now have 505. So we are so close. Oops. Man, why didn't my belt roll like that? It's been way better. So we have one item left. And it has been crazy. Why don't we do chaos runs? We can do chaos runs. Chaos runs are great. I'm also trying to get to level 99, which is one of the most insane things that I've ever seen in the history of a game. Like, people who play PoE go, oh, so it's like getting to level 100 in PoE. No. It is so much worse. It is so much worse. The way they built in all of the experience penalties makes it so you just get like no experience whatsoever. A monster that would give you 1,000,000 experience instead gives you like 2,000.
The Knights of Me bless your journey for the Holy Grail. May the shrubbery be with you.
Thank you, Knights of Knee and Sketchy. It's just so dumb. So this area can drop the item we need. That's the other thing, is a lot of areas and monsters can't even drop the items that we need. So even a lot of monsters in this area can't drop what we want. Only bosses. How do I secure my save? I back it up to another drive. So if something goes down, I only lose, you know, a day or two of it. Because I've heard the horror stories. I thankfully, knock on wood, have not had any of those problems, but I know they're out there. Why not rush the seals and boss groups in Diablo? Well, that's what I do. Also, Diablo cannot drop the item I'm looking for, but he is worth good experience. So, you know. A hand in the foot is worth 2 birds in the nest. I got that backwards somewhere. I don't remember that saying. What's that saying? Gosh dang it. I really don't remember it. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. That makes more sense. It's brunch. Leave me and my Lexus alone. Anyways. Why'd they make... Well, the Cast Sanctuary is the same area level. This is an area level 85, as is the Pit, as is the Ancient Tunnels. That's the highest area level in the game that has monsters that'll do... Like, Ubers are higher area levels, but there's nothing in there to kill for item drops besides the Uber stuff, so... Doesn't really matter. Oh, don't die, don't die, don't die. That was close. When's the next N64 stream? I'm thinking Sunday. We could also do it Thursday. Thursday might be a fun day to do it, actually. So on Thursday, I'm going to be talking with Max Schaefer about Torchlight 3. And if approved by the game studio people, we'll be streaming some of the alpha as well. But we have to get approval from them. But worst case, we'll be talking through all of the Torchlight Frontier, aka now Torchlight 3 changes. And I gotta say, I'm really excited. I was, when I heard the changes that they were doing, I was just so happy, man. I was like, finally a game that is just gonna be a game again instead of a cash generating, microtransaction filled, constantly trying to prod you machine, you know? Sometimes it's nice to just buy a game and own a game. When is it? On Thursday? Or when is it being released? It's being released sometime in 2020. On Thursday, we'll do the stream. I think he wanted to do afternoon. So we'll probably do it around like 12 or 1 o'clock would be my guess. PM Central Time. Actually, he's going to be PST, right? So maybe it'll be like 2 or 3 o'clock Central Time. Something like that. Regardless, Thursday afternoon, we will be talking through it. So. That'll be sick. Ooh. Rare vamp gloves. Come on. Trash. But after we do that stream, and or before we do that stream, depending when he wants to do that, I think it'd be fun to do some N64 stuff. Play a little bit of more Super Mario 64, Diddy Kong Racing. Oh man, there's so many good games there. There's so many good games we have to play through. Give it a Chaos Claw. I'd have to hack it in. I don't have those items on vanilla there. She's not on this. Ooh, an Eldritch Orb. Hello. 320. Oh! 31616. Dang, not bad. Not bad at all. That goes on the items found list. Loop boxes. Nice. That's cute. Diddy Kong Racing is amazing. It is. What about Diablo 2 keeps me playing? There's a million things about Diablo 2 that keeps me playing. We could do an entire video about why I keep playing this game over and over again. But we can also just boil it down to some generic things here that doesn't need to be in a whole video format. The first one is, I think I already have. Kind of. It's really spread out among a lot of things. The first one is the game has so much great, like such a great atmosphere and theme and color set and everything. I just really love the look and the feel of the game. I'm a sucker for the sprites art. And so I'm a huge fan of like this game and StarCraft, you know, Brood War and stuff for that reason. Just games of that time. I really enjoyed the look. I feel like a lot of the games, Diablo 3, even some of PoE and stuff, like PoE has a better atmosphere and look than D3 does for sure. But even then, the 3D style and stuff, it just doesn't appeal to me artistically as much, and from a video game perspective as much. So I like this look a little more, and that's just a personal preference. What I think it really boils down to, though, why I love this game and why I keep playing this game, is two things. The first one is combat. The combat in this game is absolutely fantastic. I'm level 98 right now on like a super stacked character. And look at like my life, look at the dodging I have to do, look at like the monsters I'm facing and the movements I have to make to avoid things. Like I am, even on a character that has almost every single item in the game and is super stacked, I still have to fear for my life. I'm still having to like be careful how I'm moving around, having to watch for a lot of different things, all of that stuff. I don't do 40 billion damage. I do 6.7k. And I love that. To me, that is something that makes this game fantastic and something that a lot of games unfortunately lose. You know, there's so much additional content, additional things, wanting bigger numbers, wanting whatever added, that stuff just gets out of control. Numbers get so high and so insane, and it's just too hard to balance on that, you know? And yeah, I am wearing Magic Find, so that makes it a little bit more. If I was wearing stronger gear, I could be tankier and things like that for sure. But I also love the idea of Magic Finding existing. And some people hate the idea of Magic Find. They're like, I just want power to be everything. I just want to be, if I'm stronger, I find better items. I don't want to worry about having to put on stupid gear that makes my character weaker to find gear. But to that I say, man, you are simple and boring. Games are way more fun when you have to make meaningful decisions in them, as opposed to just decision of, do I want more power or more power, you know? And this is one that I think Magic Find is one of the best decision makers, because it goes, do I want a slightly better chance at getting items, or do I want to feel a little safer or do a little more damage, right? Like, whether you're playing offensive, defensive, or Magic Find or whatever it is, you're having to like sacrifice in some way to get there. Or just say, you know, okay, maybe I feel like it's going to be better for the amount of quantity of items I find, that I don't need to worry as much about Magic Find, because over the quantity it'll be close enough for me, and that's good, and all of that. So I love the idea of wearing some Magic Find, not wearing, you know, all Magic Find all the time, and making those decisions. I think that makes the game very interesting and a lot of fun. and keeps you from just going pure tank, pure power to mixing and matching, which is better. My Merc wears Fortitude, Infinity, and an Andes helm. The other thing that I really love about the game is the itemization in this game is near perfect. It's one of the best itemization systems that I've ever seen. I hope it gets copied over to Diablo 4 in its own way, but the same idea. And that's just... every item in this game can be interesting, whether it's a white item, whether it's a gray item, ethereal items, or sockets, whether it has, rares can be the most GG amazing rares. You have cool, interesting rune words and uniques and sets and the combinations, and there's so many cool things that you end up picking up all of this different stuff because it all has different uses, and it's all super interesting, and I love that. I absolutely love it and think it's fantastic. And it makes it so exciting to go out and kill stuff and fight things. And this is something that PoE has emulated really properly. Ooh, Rising Sun. Very nice. This is something that Path of Exile has done very well. A little too well, where you might get a little too far with all the extra content and so many crafting options. It gets so complicated, and it kind of adds a little bit to the power creep a little too much. But the idea is the itemization itself and all of the cool things are fun to pick up and interesting, and crafting when in PoE, all of that is so fun. And that's what PoE definitely has. What PoE is missing is combat. Completely misses on combat. And that is the hardest part of Path of Exile right there, is that there's just not a good combat in the game, and it just makes that's where I fall flat. It needs to get a combat revamp. It has the best currency system I've ever seen. It has fantastic itemization, but you're just everything is a one-shot massive killing machine. And like, you look at this and might think that this is a one-shot massive killing machine, but like, there's delay between me attacking and hitting things. There's a lot of stuff not dying on my screen. Every kind of monster I fight matters. Whether I fight an Oblivion Knight, or fight a Stormcaster, or fight a Pit Lord, or whatever I'm fighting, souls, every monster type matters. In PoE, I feel like I don't care what I kill. Like, it just dies. I don't even know what I kill 2/3 of the time. It's all dead before I even know, And that's always where I feel is the biggest fault of the game, is that monsters don't matter and combat doesn't mean enough. And you learn how to, do the boss fights, and I really like the boss fights in the game, even though they have their predictable way, and you learn how to do them. I still think the boss fights are cool, but yeah, it's everything else is so unimportant in the game. 99.9% of stuff you kill in the game doesn't matter at all, and that's its biggest flaw. That's it. If it fixed that, I think it would be as good of a game as D2. And I know that's controversial. A lot of people will say, it's better than D2. It has so much extra content, blah, 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 all that stuff. But, like, to me, the fundamentals are worth more than any additional crafting mods and things that you add in. I can play 20,000 hours of Diablo 2, and I can play it over and over and over and over again without taking a break. When I play PoE, and even when I watch PoE streamers and stuff, they do like a month and a half of PoE, go to something else because they burned out on PoE. Wait for new content, come back, do the new content, go to something else. I think that's somewhere that D2 is a little unique for me. Those are nice boots. And hey, look at that, a Dungos. Man, we just found 3 GG right in a row, man. Diablo's dropping. Always comes down to the basics, don't it? Don't it, though? You think Diablo 4 will turn out good? Or should they finish the series on D4 so it's not make situation worse? I love Diablo 5 to make it. I have less hope. How do you know normal Cow King can drop Talzami? Go to Bing and type in Silo's Pen and it'll tell you where like items can drop. Why not 1.4? For the mod that I'm running that has the large stash so that I can store all the items, I can't run 1.4. It only works on 1.13. Thanks, machine gun. Your biggest... Ooh, cracked unearthed wand, wow. Yeah, biggest flaw in PoE is a boss or a monster one-shots you and you don't know how you died. I definitely agree. Once again, it's a battle of one-shots. Are you one-shotting the monster or is the monster one-shotting you? And I agree. There's so many times I've died and I go, wait, what killed me? And then I go back and I watch the VOD and I go, the clip and I go, I still don't know what killed me. And then eventually I go, oh, it was this thing from off the screen. There was a little animation that I could barely see because my MTX was so bright in the way and it flew in and hit me. You know, like... That's usually how my deaths in PoE go.
I am overburdened.
So, yeah, that's definitely the piece that I still... I hope PoE 2 really addresses that. That's all I can say.
Did you had your pizza yet?
I've been streaming the whole time. I'm gonna order it after stream. We're doing an after stream pizza. How many hours do I have in PoE? I'd have to go look. I mean, it's not a ton. You know, you can still call me a PoE newbie. I probably have like 650, 700, something around there. So right now, like, I have a hardcore Necro, and he's in red maps, and that's the furthest I've ever gotten with on a hardcore character. I've gone to Shaper before on a softcore. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with that. I was happy to get to red maps, even though Necro is a little strong. Well, see, that's why I'm super pumped about Torchlight 3, is they said, you know what, we're going to go against the trend of everything needs to be bigger, better, you know, more numbers, stronger. And maybe they'll have big numbers in it. I hope not. But, you know, from a content standpoint, at least, they said, we're just going to give you this content. It's going to be the whole content, all packed as one. And to me, that means there's not going to be constant additions of next with higher numbers. So I'm hoping that that'll mean numbers are going to be more reasonable in the game. But maybe they won't. Maybe it'll still also be you do 5 billion damage or something. Who knows? You want to see decimals and you end at 1? There you go. Ooh, Midora. Torchlight 2 is a great game, yeah. That it was.
Fresh meat.
Machine gun! Thank you so much. But yeah, so what do I want with Diablo 4? I mean, like I said, I think this is just the formula for a... And I don't want to say successful ARPG because obviously like Diablo 3 was technically successful, Path of Exile is successful. But if you want to have a game that can hold its own through time without needing constant updates and things like that, I think You just need to really hit the main 2 bases. I think there are more than 2 pillars. I think the 5 pillars that Chris talked about are definitely reasonable. But I think there's 2 pillars that are most important. Itemization and combat. If you have really fun items to find and craft and make and use, and they give good decisions, and you have really awesome combat that's meaningful with lots of good monster types and fights and all of that stuff, if you have those 2 things, I think a game will be fun to play over and over and over again. And, you know, the other things are nice and help boost it and make it a world and all that stuff, but are not necessary. If you kill a boss, does your MF count, or does your Merce's MF count if he kills it? So when you kill a boss, your magic find only counts. If your Merce kills a boss, it's his magic find plus your magic find. The third pillar is...
The third pillar is Sorc.
That's right. That's what I was going to say for the third pillar. That's what we were going to say. So yeah, that's my full opinion on it right there. I think if you can have both of those things, you can have the greatest game. Just a fantastic RPG that will stand the test of time. Because people will go, man, this is so fun to play, and I can play it for hours and hours and hours because it's got good loot grind. And that's why I play Diablo 2 over and over and over again. Because I get to grind for loot, which I have a lot of fun doing, and the combat is really fun, so I never feel like I'm just, you know, pushing a button and looking for the loot like at a slot machine, but I'm like working with skill to get that loot, to get the cool item, you know? Oops. And that's the like super fun part, is that loot doesn't come easy. And good chance to die and stuff. Yes, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, you slack in D2, you can die super easy, man. I can die even without slacking. Shoot. Static is dumb. Static is a very strong skill. Definitely one of the strongest in the game. Another IK mall. That's 2 in like 15 minutes. Something like that. Ooh, we got an experience shrine for Diablo. Dude, anybody can die to a gang of dolls. Tell you that much. I don't think that tick is right. I'm pretty sure we haven't ticked today. I think that's an old one. When was the last time Source died? She died at like the halfway mark. I've only... Oh no! Oh, I didn't grab that. That sucks. I've only died once on her at level 98. Bro, I didn't even touch it. That was weak. Oh, Ithrin. I didn't even touch it, man. Snakes just wrecked you at Nilithak? Dude, snakes are insane. Especially the Nilithak snakes. Absolute mad lads. Evil and bugged? Agreed.
Not even
Agreed. How many hours do I have on this sorceress? Couple thousand. No, I didn't die. We were just talking about it. Nice, Sonny. Have I tried It Lurks Below? It Lurks Below is actually a really fantastic game. I played through all of like normal mode or whatever it was called there. And I've done a couple like different characters that I haven't really gone beyond that. But the game is really great. It's just not really my style of game as much. I don't really play the like platformer like that. Terraria, any of those. I don't really have any play in any of that style of game. But I actually do enjoy the game a ton. It's really well made. So there's a lot you can do with it. It's really fun. Level 80 source not really geared yet. Where should I farm for experience? At 87, you can still farm most anywhere if you really want to. Chaos and Bale are both great experience spots. If you want to gear, go do some Mephisto and gear up a little bit more. Come on, Skiller. It's actually not easier, Slav Touch. I looked into how the items generate and it doesn't improve it. I wish. I thought it might, but it doesn't. I'm just running this area because it's an area that gives me good experience with Diablo kills, so. But we can, you know, there's some other areas that we can do. We'll go do some more tunnels. Try and get a little more chance. 6666 gold. Nice. From the devil himself. It's pretty funny. Ooh, Mav's armor. That trick doesn't apply to any item, though, that you would think it would, Cat Lord. Even if you find, like, let's say you find a Templar's Might and you think, oh, now if I find a unique Sacred Armor, it'd be Tyros Might. That is true, but it doesn't improve the odds of finding a Tyros Might. It doesn't take Templar's Might out of that drop table at all. If it was going to drop a Templar's Might, then it would instead just drop a failed rare staff instead, or rare Sacred Armor instead. So, not even that will improve your odds, unfortunately. Do I pick up items I already have? Do I do them for perfects? It depends the item. If it's like a good item, yes. If it's like Gore Shovel or something, I don't care. You know, whatever. The only thing that I am doing as well is I'm going for the Eth Grail, the Magic Find Eth Grail. So !meth has that list, and I think I have like 110 items left on that. Something like that. So I'm trying to find every item ethereal, which is 20 times harder to do. Because items are 20 times more likely. Superior Bone Weave. 436. To be non-eth. So it's 5% chance that it rolls Ethereal, basically, right? Can every unique be Eth? No. So like this can't be ethereal, this can't be ethereal, this can't be ethereal. Anything indestructible cannot be ethereal unless it is always indestructible or always ethereal. So for instance, Ghost Flame is indestructible and always ethereal. Is the grandfather rare? Yeah, this is one of the really rare items in the game. All these items on this front page are pretty rare. Some are like way more rare than others, like this one. And obviously like an Eth Templar's Might is insanely rare. An Eth Death Web is crazy rare. This is like 1 in 2.2 million find or something. So that Eth Templar's Might is probably 1 in 800,000, something like that. Which, for reference, that Tyrael's Might is like 1 in 330,000, and that's the rarest item in the game. So, finding some of those items ethereal is like finding multiple Tyrael's Mights rarities. Oh, I need to update the odds for Mang Songs back to 1 in 110. It was 1 in 52k for Pindle. And yet we're stuck on Mangs. That we are. It's okay. What goes up must continue going up. And then eventually stall and hang there. How many Zods have I found? 0 Zods. But I have found 3 Chams. And you only need 2 Chams to make a Zod. So I've technically found Zod. So that works for me. What will I do when I find it? Probably freak out. I'm gonna be honest, you know. Lose my mind, have a party, and then we'll do more work on our Eth Grail. Ooh, Thresher, please be ethereal. Please be ethereal. Ah! I still need an Eth Reaper's Toll. This is a really good item. We have found some really like solid items today already. I really wish that was ethereal though. Runes count for the Grail? No, I'm just doing sets and uniques. But if runes have to count for it or whatever, you know, I'll probably morph it up when I find it at the end. I'll make the Zod and then I'll have all of them and I'll be happy. Just for fun. Yep, Eth Reaper's Toll is a boss killer, man. So good. Hey, Tal's Mask. So good. Found a Zod and a single SOJ in your 3-4s. You played Detort Core? Yep. This character, and I mean, like, obviously I'm not farming in great SOJ areas, but I feel like this character only has, like, 4 SOJs or something. Obviously, if you go to, like, Nightmare and Dariel and farm, you know, you can find an SOJ a day almost there. You give a good like 8-hour farm on it. Hey, okay. Hope you're doing all right there. Stay safe.
Mang Song used to be more common, but he decided to lessen the drop rate.
I would never. You need how many to summon Ubers? A lot. 80, 100, 80 to 120, somewhere around there. This girl's been going for 3.5 years, my dudes. How many Ming songs have you found today? Yeah, that's the question. How many of them? Do I know this girl's anniversary? Not really. It's like June or something. Somewhere around there. If you go and look up, even then, I'd have to. I don't know when it was on Twitch. If I found one today, what would the average per day be? Low. I'm at the 105 breakpoint for FCR, yeah. Eth Grail seems crazy. So here's the thing with the Eth Grail. It is crazy. Because this has taken me 3.5 years. Multiply that by 20. Maybe a little less. Because we don't have to find every item since all of them are ethereal. Multiply it by 15 or so. I mean, you're still looking at like a 45-year grail. But if I went ham on it and invested a lot of time, I'm sure I could bring it down to like 15 years. Regardless, it's pretty insane. I don't think I want to get a perfect Eth Grail where I get every Eth item, but I would like to get a lot of them. So like, Astrians, probably just gonna say, forget about it, you know. Mang songs, I can't even find that item non-ethereal. So like, you know, a couple of those items, I feel like I'll just go, oh well.
I still need to find a rune staff. It keeps dropping Mang Song's lessons.
Brutal, huh? But a lot of the items, I already have a lot of the really hard items, to be honest, ethereal. It just goes to show how unlucky I've been with this Mang songs. Where's the lowest drop? Griffins? I mean, it's gonna be any of these areas. No, it doesn't just only drop in here, but my character clears this area the fastest. So, you know, I already have a Griffin's ethereal, a Templar's Might ethereal, a Death Web ethereal, Steel Wren's ethereal, you know, tons and tons of items. All of these belts, I have 2 belts that aren't ethereal. The rest I have ethereal. So there's a lot of items that I already have ethereal. So, you know, some of these will be tough, getting like a Spirit Keeper and a Sky Spirit, and those might be a little hard. We got most of the boots. I still need Shadow Dancer's ethereal, which will be kind of tough. But there's a lot of items out there that are just like, you know, okay, like Hustle Doll, that won't be that bad. That's indestructible, so that can't even be it. Soul Harvest, like, that's not that crazy. There's a lot of items that are just in that mid-range. And, you know, I should be able to find Nord's Tenderizer and those ones pretty quickly. So I should be able to knock a lot of them out. I still need to find an Eth Earth Shifter. That'll be hard. That'll be a tough one. But yeah, a lot of them we've already got knocked out. So I think I can whittle a lot of the list down after I finish this Grail and go work on the Eth Grail by just doing like, okay, now we're gonna do Nightmare and Dario runs for a few weeks. Now we're gonna do, you know, Hell Andy, Hell Mephisto runs. Like if I just run Mephisti and Andy over and over again, players 3, players 7, whatever you want, that should be a great, really fast way to get a ton of those items. Hello, uniques. So, you know, because they're going to drop those items a lot more, but they're not going to drop the crazy items like Mang Songs and stuff, right? So I'm kind of avoiding some of the easier drops that could be ethereal to try and find Mang Songs. So I really think we could knock that list down a decent chunk. Within a month or so of pretty good farming. Just by farming at those sorts of areas for eth items. Yeah, we can bug in Dario. She's bugged. Crit Pollux. Thank you, Arm. Monarch Shield. J-Mod. No, I want the Monarch. Bam! Perfect Eth Griffin? That's crazy, killer. Also rough. If you're not collecting it for funsies, that one hurts a little bit, huh?
Good to see you.
Do I ever plan to do some group speedrun comps on maybe like POD? Oh, besides ladder reset? I don't know, maybe. I feel like I enjoy the ladder reset times the most. Otherwise, people come in with like full gear. You know, they like give their characters gear, things like that. And it's also the more people that you bring in, the more it's like difficult to control what's going on in your stream. You get people who'll start fighting on your stream. You get people who are like, oh wait, hold on, I need 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and you're waiting. There's a lot of stuff. As a streamer, it's just really difficult to manage 8 people or whatever that number is. So the more of them that are like streamers and whatever, the more on track it generally stays. But that's usually why I don't do too much of that. Am I wrong? You really farmed CS? I just did the CS right before this. How was September? There was no September. I have never instituted sub-only mode in my chat. Everyone is always welcome here. That is that. Are Amazons really bad? No, Amazons are great. Great characters.
I am overburdened.
Okay, Jonesky. How about right now? Yeah, Amazons are really strong. I actually feel like they're pretty strong throughout the whole game, honestly. The only problem is Hellac 3. Oh, Hellac 3 is a nightmare. That is a truly terrible area. Don't you, we had to, me. Don't you do it. What's easier? Ooh, hello. Are bosons good or just absons? Yeah, I really like bosons, and bosons are definitely decent. A little more item dependent, especially as you get towards hell and get towards a physical one. Is tunnels like the pit? Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. You could go for some Lackfist. Watching YouTube is a long time, really enjoy kind of miss it. Thanks, Laser. Appreciate it. I love it, man. It's such a good game. It's just such a fun game to play. It's got great sounds to it. It's got a great look to it. It's got fun items. They just did it all right, man. They just got it all right with this one. Damage doesn't go to 230 billion.
Good day.
Yeah. It'll make them like they used to. That's the truth. Am I just used to spotting unique mobs? Yeah. Yep, after so many thousands of hours playing this game, you just kind of notice a lot of things. It's like reading items, you know? I can pick an item up and read it very quickly and know if it's good or bad. Doesn't take a long look.
Where can I take you?
How do you feel about remastered D2 after Warcraft 3? I mean, worse. It really is true, Raggets. There's so many memorable sounds in this game, and honestly in StarCraft. That's also what I thought was amazing about StarCraft and Brood War and stuff, is the sound design in the game is really good. You can close your eyes and watch a whole game, you know? Can't believe they're giving full refunds on Warcraft 3 Reforged. I'm pretty sure they're doing it because they have to. FCC involvement and stuff because of delivering on a fault, or not delivering on promises. You're not allowed to promise all of this content, do pre-orders, and then release without the content. That's false advertising, man.
Good day.
It's true, Sea Shark. SCV, good to go, sir. My life for hire. More like my life for hire. It's better zealot there. First one is more power overwhelming. I'm coming. I need Mang, songs, lesson. Just even like all the Zerg sounds for all of their creatures, all of the sounds for like,
Longest sub time ever.
I mean, obviously.
Yay, llama.
Mwah! Thank you, Acrobatics. Battle Cruiser operational. Oh, those are great. But even just like the Fire Bat Academy,
Press the any
or the
key.
Academy
Where is
sound.
The any key?
Press the any key. Here we go. Just this right here. Here you go. Building sounds. Terran Academy. Come on. Come on. If that's not my favorite sound ever. You think AoE 2 is the greatest RTS? You could argue it for sure. F? I think I need S shark skins too. Those are nice. Or waterworks. Those are nice though. Nice finds, man. Nice finds today. Like, to me, I grew up a little more. I mean, I grew up on Age of Mythology, StarCraft, you know, Warcraft 2 and 3, and Age of Empires. That was kind of my, like, growing up. The age of RTS. The age of RTS games. And I would definitely say, like, I played the most StarCraft, and I found competitively I enjoyed it the most. I have not played the HD. I need to so badly. I need to just go buy it. Red Alert. Oh my god, those were fantastic as well. Those were like, Red Alert was my great, like, all right, I'm just going to go screw off with friends and mess around and build a bunch of Tesla coils and stuff. Loved all the Command & Conquer for all that stuff. Age of Empires mythology, I just loved for, like, picking the different gods and just doing all the different stuff with them. That was super fun. StarCraft, I loved for, one, competitive, because the KSL, ASL, all that, whatever, like, all of those leagues were just fantastic to watch and just an amazing game. And I think it plays super well. The custom games as well, though, were super great. I loved all of the custom in StarCraft, and I think that's where it really won my heart, is just every custom, from the golems to the bunker wars to the all the bounds to, you know, every sunken defense. All of the different custom games in StarCraft just blew me away. And same with Warcraft as well, but I preferred StarCraft gameplay to Warcraft gameplay. And then Age of Empires, I feel like is... I don't even know if there are custom games in Age of Empires. I've never played any. But from a gameplay standpoint, it's really good. One of my favorite things in Age of Empires... There are? Okay. One of my favorite things in Age of Empires is that the game, it moves so slowly. And this is also kind of true in Warcraft. But I love that there'll be, like, your opponent's units on one side of your base, and you're just kind of, like, doing everything still, moving to the other side of your base. Buildings don't die in, like, a second, just, you know, it's not everything blowing up like everything is nowadays. You know, StarCraft 2, a marine drop comes in, and they take out 5 buildings before a Zergling can even get there, you know, like... You have to be on top of all the scouting and everything perfectly, because if anything touches your base, it's dead. As opposed to, like, AoE, there's just, like, all this positional battle. And so there's all this just stuff of, like, yeah, these units will be over here attacking, and, okay, well, I'm just going to have that while I build up my force on this side, and then we'll go take care of them. Yeah, Boar Steels, exactly. Like, small, crazy little things like that can decide an entire game. And I think that stuff is really what makes a game, like, super exciting and interesting. And so that's what I really love about just Age of Empires overall as a whole. Is it's just, like, you know, slow and methodical, and a lot of strategy is in a lot of smaller details here and there. And that's the same sort of thing you get with StarCraft 1, and why I prefer StarCraft 1 to StarCraft 2, which I still like StarCraft 2. I've got many thousands of hours in StarCraft 2. But I prefer StarCraft 1 a little bit more, just because the pace of the game is a little slower. And so there's just so many, you know, little things. When you win a high, you know, oh, okay, well, I took out a couple dragoons in that, you know, shot back and forth and whatever. Like, or I took out a shuttle that had a reaver. Like, those little things mean so much more in those games, and I think it's super good. But yeah, in terms of, like, remasters and all that stuff, whatever, AoE is still the one holding strong for sure. Doing really well there. And it looks great, and, you know, it's exactly what a remaster should be. So I would love to play more of it. Viper's incredible to watch, yeah. Somebody said he moved to YouTube or something like that, streaming. Is that true? StarCraft Brood War has a much higher skill cap than StarCraft 2. Well, yeah, that's just because they like made too many things easy. He does do YouTube? Okay. Oh, Mixer? Oh, okay. They do too many things easily, and that's the big problem in StarCraft 2. Workers auto-mine. Buildings can all be selected together and build all the units at the same time. The movement of units is super smooth, and they all bunch and move really easily along. Like, all of those things. And, like, they make sense from a design standpoint. You know, like, okay, well, now players don't have to be as frustrated going one click, one click, one click, one click, one click. Or having all, 200 of their units on the same hotkey. Like, instead of having them spread across 9 hotkeys and still not having them all selected or whatever it is. Right? Like, but from a game that's, like, supposed to be taxing your APM, in StarCraft 2, with about 200 APM, because I had about 180 to 200 APM when I would play StarCraft 2. I could do everything I needed to do for a majority of the game. The only time I ever really felt maxed out on my APM, where it was actually detrimental to me, was when I was fighting against a Terran that would do like 3 drops and also have like a main battle in the middle. And that's where I always felt like, man, I just cannot be in enough spaces, like I'm losing my mind in APM wise. But when I go back and play Brood War, or even if you go back and watch professionals play Brood War, the top players, there'll be idle SCVs, there'll be, it's like, it's so taxing on your APM that you're gonna have little weaknesses here and there. And I think that actually makes for a better game. Because like a game where everybody plays perfect starts to end up like we're seeing chess right now. What is chess right now? It's boring because everybody's too good. I mean, the last chess, World Cup, whatever, went 12 straight draws because like everybody's just too good. That's it. It just went to the tiebreaker because, and that's just the problem, is everybody knows everything and nobody's willing to take that kind of chance to risk losing something. It's kind of turning into tic-tac-toe. I love chess, and I think when you get into like a little bit lower levels of chess, or you get into into blitz chess or things like that, you can start to see a lot more fun things. But I'm saying you cannot say that a World Cup that has 12 draws in a row is an exciting, isn't an exciting state, That's all I'm saying. A game that involves more places for people to mess up and have weaknesses and little places to gain advantages here and there is a better game overall. Or more exciting at the very least. And that's kind of StarCraft 2 versus StarCraft 1 a little bit. In StarCraft 1, like, everybody's gonna have their weak spots. And it's just, how few mistakes you can make and how well you can take advantage of your opponent's weak spots. But I still think StarCraft 2 is really exciting. Like, I still enjoy it, but I just think that's something that Brood War just did a little bit better. I did not see the multi-level chess game. You think Go is the supreme strategy game over chess? I don't watch enough Go. Obviously, I watch the Alpha Go and all of that tournament stuff, but I haven't watched just professional Go players. going at it. It's a unique Archon staff. I'm not saying chess needs an expansion at all. Like, obviously you shouldn't mess with any sort of game like that. But they are discussing maybe ways to spice things up at the World Cup, at least. Make it so that there's like more value associated with, you know, winning, whatever, or something to do with, you know, some way to create a situation where people have to start or want to start taking risk and start doing things other than sitting defensive and drawing after 25 moves. What about Magic the Gathering? Don't you think it's too wide open competitively? Well, the thing with Magic the Gathering is, I mean, and obviously there's some like discussion with this, but I mean, I feel like a lot of it is just more like metas and builds. I feel like card games never really exude that. I think Magic the Gathering is great. I haven't watched a lot of like professional Magic the Gathering, to be honest, but you know, really, somebody builds a really good deck, other people just copy the really good deck, right? And then you end up with 7 control decks in the finals or something. But the nice thing is you do get RNG in your plays, so you know you have to adjust for getting mana screwed and things like that. Control metas suck. I hate control metas so much. So it's still somewhat interesting to see there, just from that perspective. So it's fun to watch decks come together and stuff, and when you can get really cool, you know, watching 2 different decks fight against each other. That's like one deck is racing against the clock and the other's trying to set up some combo, and you know, things like that can be interesting to see. And the fact that there's a bajillion Magic cards is really interesting as well, because it allows for players to kind of spice things up, change it up a little bit, all that stuff. Another unique amulet. So I think for me, like, my favorite part or favorite thing to do when I'm playing Magic is do drafting. I think drafting is the most exciting part of Magic. Just because, like, nobody comes in with a set deck with all of the perfect cards and perfect combos and anything like that. Everybody instead just draws, you know, gets a few packs, goes through it and goes, what can I make? And all of a sudden you just do a bunch of great, ooh, an Atmos. You just do a bunch of like cool different ideas. I've played 4 or 5 colored decks before in tournaments that have gone really far because they had really weird combinations and how things set up, and you know, but of course against any meta deck it would never work because the meta deck is too refined and, you know, goes off on turn 6 pretty successfully and whatever, and so I don't have a chance to ever let anything develop. And so as soon as you get to that like meta state or the perfect deck states, it just knocks out so many possible combinations, whereas in draft you get to see so many exciting things as everybody's just trying to put things together, and then, you know, you get into your last pack and all of a sudden you open up a top rare and you're like, well, now I have to shift my whole deck to play with this. How are we going to bring black into this red-blue deck? All right, well, we can fit it in here. Like, it's so fun. It's so fun. And I think that's one of the best, just the best ways to enjoy Magic. Hello, how are you? Anytime things get too set, too exact, they stale out, you know. It loses a lot of that piece. And like I say, it's like in chess. Right now, the first X moves of a chess tournament are very predetermined. Especially when you get to the high-end, very final bits where they have a ton of time. Okay, well, you're going to play this move. Well, then I play this, and we know exactly how this goes out until all of us have our pieces developed and set. And then the game actually starts. But then, depending how we set up, if we both played defensively, well, we probably both just kind of chill for a bit. And if nobody finds that crazy move, then there's a lot of metagaming in chess. I mean, not for the openers, though. Openers are all very, very set. Yeah, that's a Venom Ward breastplate. I mean, I love watching Magnus, don't get me wrong. Yeah, and so, like, you'll see that sometimes where somebody comes out and tries to pick an opener that their opponent hasn't prepared against all the variations for and stuff. You definitely do see that, I agree. That's exciting to watch.
Your presence honors me.
Right, and that's just, like I say, you know, chess is slightly a little bit of tic-tac-toe in the early stages, especially if both players are prepared. Or if neither player feels comfortable really playing some solid, you know, some other line, then you end up in a bit of a tic-tac-toe start. And then, you know, mid games can get super exciting, obviously, and it's amazing to see players do crazy moves and sacrifices. But what's EDH? I don't know what that is.
Good day.
Sounds like any strategy game. All openers have a best counter. Right, but now throw in something like StarCraft, where you can't always see your opponent's opener. And that's where things start to shift a lot. Oh, it's just Commander, gotcha. Yeah. Or Magic the Gathering Draft, but you don't know what your opponent's deck is. You know it's got some black in it. That's all you know, or something, you know, like, the more mystery that gets added, the better in terms of strategy games for me. But I know a lot of people like having, you know, the knowledge piece as a huge piece to it. Being able to know every single counter to every single thing and stuff is great. But what's the logic behind the order of potions on my bar? I like having my health pots on the front. I like having my mana potions on the back. And usually when I freak out, I spam 2. So I like having 2 in the middle, and then I just have 3 next to it for more. It's usually my freak out mass quick heal key, though. Did I watch 1971? I have not. I have not. Yeah, I don't like running 4 juvies because then there's some times where I'm like wanting to be constantly regenning life. You know? So I get hit and it keeps going up and stuff as opposed to pushing it to the top and then it starts going down again. I have not seen any of those ghoul hands. Chess with fog of war, exactly. Like, what if chess had blinders at the start of the game, and the first, like, 5 moves that your opponent did, you weren't allowed to see, and then you lifted the barrier up and played from there. Suddenly, chess becomes no more set opener response, blah blah blah, but a lot of like crazy positions that you get thrown in and have to work yourself out of. I think that would be really interesting to watch.
Your presence honors me.
Yeah, a little bit of, I mean, just like first 5 moves. Chess 960 is basically that. Well, Chess 960 just mixes up the backlines, right? But you still see everything. It's still perfect information. You just don't know where stuff's going to be positioned exactly to start. Which, yeah, it does take out the known openers, for sure. Think a meta would evolve over time where it would become equally predictable? Potentially. But then you could do things to counter the meta. If you know that most people open up in a very specific kind of way, you could study some line that is super aggressive towards that. Has a big risk, but, you know, could get you a good start. Whatever.
Take you.
Well, Battleship is a little more just guess there. This would be you're trying to mind game your opponent a lot more. So, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Stratego. I love Stratego so much. And there's always the thing of like, is it smart to put your flag all the way at the front? Yeah, probably not. But once every 5-6 games, you got to do it. Because they're going to blow right past it and try and start mining out the back. And you can hide your flag in plain sight. But you can't do it every time, or eventually they're just going to start checking it, you know? I have not played Cryptid, no. I think Stratego is... That was probably my favorite game as a kid. God, what a game. What a game. I need to go buy Stratego. That's what I need to do. It's just too good, man. Whew. All right, everybody. I am going to head to bed. It is that time. I do have work tomorrow. Thank you guys for being here and watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night with pizza. Yeah, you're right. I should order some Domino's. All right, I'm going to get some pizza and then go to bed. I'm kind of hungry. Mwah. Thank you all for watching. Love you guys. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate the support today. You know, as always. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Watch one of those movies? I will. Send them to me on Discord as well. Good night. Peace. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. We will continue with the Nightmare Assassin of our guided playthrough. Oh wait, I thought I did a raid. Whoopsie daisies. Let's go enjoy cute ice cream.